And congratulations to the nominees before the committee. Mr. Cologne, I think it is true, and I think some people have talked about it. I've been watching this from my office, that some people want to change the discussion back to maybe some of the inappropriate tweets of President Trump. I actually publicly criticized some of those tweets, but the American people elected them. And now it almost seems like these are not things that we should consider for any nominees coming before the committee. I was just in a Judiciary Committee hearing this week where one of the nominees 31 years ago made a statement and was roundly criticized by some of my colleagues on my side of the aisle. And I saw that as a statement that this person has twice now before me regretted. That was maybe a lapse of judgment. But the concern that I have with you as a nominee is a pattern of behavior. And quite honestly, it's unprecedented in my 6.5 years being in the Senate. So we frequently hear that retweets do not equal endorsements. What are your thoughts on this?
Senator, I'd like to say thank you for the question. I'd like to start by saying, again, in connection with those tweets, they were wrong in a personal approach that I've never before engaged in. I engaged in for the first and only time in my life. And I've.
Well, how about some of your actual quotes? Those that have to naturally, and if it was not just one, but multiple, have to really express your thoughts and feelings.
I'm sorry, Senator. I didn't understand the question.
Mr. Cologne, how many people will work in the organization you're seeking confirmation for?
In HUD?
Yeah.
Sir? Thousands?
Mm-hmm. You know, you'd be the administrator of many grant programs run by HUD, and they'd be in blue states, they'd be in purple states, they'd be in red states. You'd be in an organization that has thousands of people who probably run across the political spectrum. So with that in mind, many people who probably voted for Trump probably supported him both times that he ran. Can you explain to me what the acronym PAB or PPAB means?
To be honest, Senator, I do not recall, but I can tell you that—
We got a graphic here if it helps.
Yeah, and thank you. And I just want to say I appreciate your concerns, and I understand completely. But
so
just
coming in as a manager of this organization, again, I've read your letter. I understand you're remorseful. But the fact of the matter is the information's out there, and what Senator Toomey said earlier, some of it's not out there, and we haven't been able to get it from you. We can probably have people go back on Wayback or other platforms and find it. This is what we know. And this is what you were comfortable with saying in what is clearly a public setting. Nobody believes when they go on Twitter it's a private setting, people sitting around cutting up like we all do. You know, this is a pattern of behavior. And you're seeking a management role in an organization where I would have to believe people would say that it would be threatening to know that their boss has, even if you regret the words, the sentiment's the same. Even if the language was cleaner, the sentiment's the same. And it would just lead me to believe it could create a toxic world. How could anybody who has this view, and maybe they were on Twitter and said, I support Donald Trump, how could they have any reasonable expectation that they would be treated fairly under your management?
I can tell you that, Senator, in 13 years of administering some of the largest housing programs in the country, working collaboratively across the aisle with both Republican and Democratic officials in rural, suburban, and urban regions, I'm unaware of a single complaint of partisanship or bias or inappropriate behavior against me or my office. I understand the concerns you're raising. I could only point out that record, and I could only offer my apology and commit to you that if confirmed, I would do. I can tell you that I am 100% committed to working collaboratively, and as I have my entire career in a bipartisan fashion, to address the important issues in every state.
Well, Mr. Colon, I just feel like statements that you've made about female anchors on television, this interaction that we'll submit for the record, it just really makes me wonder why you knew this going into it, why you even decided to come forward. I think it raises questions. There are going to be people in an organization you're seeking confirmation for that I believe would have grave concerns. And to the other nominees, I'm going to submit some questions for the record. I know that it doesn't completely swim into your lanes on manufactured housing, a couple of other issues, affordable housing, but we'll get back with you all for questions for the record. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Yeah, we have two more, yeah, at least. Thank you, Senator Tillis. Senator Ossoff is recognized.